Guys, what's up? It is Doug, and welcome to another edition of Spooky Villages. Today, I'm doing my annual countdown of my top 5 favorite buildings of the year. Going to talk some honorable mentions as well, and talk about some accessories, in particular one accessory that I really like. Before we get into that, quick note here, guys, if you are looking at getting one of my Autumn Pumpkin Patch Village scene setters, I still do have some of them available, and it's a great way to support the channel if you're looking for a way to support the channel, and I'm really happy with how these turned out. You can actually see here, this is actually my display for the year. I'm using one of them in my Pumpkin Patch Village scene here, and I'm really happy with both how the village turned out this year, my small pumpkin patch, and just how the Autumn Pumpkin Patch scene setter, how it's really kind of taken it over the edge. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to support the channel, you can get one of those, spookyvillages.com, and I'm shipping them typically within 1 business day. All right, guys, let's get into my best of the year countdown. I want to start off talking about an accessory. The thing that takes the cake for me that is an easy recommend is the Pumpkin Hollow line at Menards has the jack-o'-lantern tree. You can see here a picture of it from my village here that I set up this year. This tree is amazing. It looks perfect with Lemax or Department 56. One positive or negative, I guess, depending how you want to look at it, it's only battery powered. There's actually no way to plug it in, so you have to put batteries in it, and you have to pick it up underneath and turn it on. But I don't mind that because it just means one less wire, that's around, especially for something like a tree. But the other thing, it is extremely cheap. You can get this for under $15 at Menards, which is crazy because I feel like it would be quite a bit more expensive probably if it was with one of the other companies. But even cost aside, I absolutely love this piece. It puts off just enough light. It's a nice accessory. It's not going to take away from your main buildings, but it's it works great. I actually regret that I didn't buy several of these. I would like to, whenever I get back to the store here, if they have some available, get a couple of these so I could just start peppering displays with them because they just work really good. And again, for that price, it is hard to beat. And that's the Pumpkin Hollow jack-o'-lantern tree, and it is sold at Menards. All right, so let's get to the main event of the buildings. I do have one honorable mention before I get into the top 5, but before that, I did want to just briefly talk about the facades that Lemax released this year. Since I started doing this countdown a few years ago, I have not made the facades eligible on the countdown just because they're technically not buildings. But if they were, and if I allowed that, they would be on each one. They're always some of the best. And this year, the Spooky Days Ahead and the Monsters on Main, absolutely love both of the facades that Lemax released this year. They are incredible. I did a video this season actually ranking all of the facades that are currently available, and it was a lot of fun, so go check that out. But I absolutely love the facades, but I'm not including them on this list because I don't view them as eligible. All right, so for my honorable mention this year, it's a Lemax Spooky Town Medi-evil Castle. I didn't put this on the actual 5, the top 5 list. It just missed it, just because there are a couple little things with this one that I personally would have liked a little bit more. We'll talk about that in a minute. And actually, with the exception pretty much of the first building that's on my list here, the number 1, most of these buildings I really like. There's just a couple, 1 or 2 things that kind of hold it back a little bit from being truly great. But this one here, it's pretty over the top. It's very over the top. You're either going to like that, or maybe it's going to detract a little bit. I think it's a ton of fun. And actually, I would have used it in my display this year. The reason I didn't do a castle display, frankly, is because I did my my Autumn Pumpkin Patch Village scene setter. I had those backgrounds done, and I wanted to do a pumpkin patch this year for that. But I'm hoping to do a castle scene next year. And spoiler there, I'm looking to release a scene setter next year that has a kind of a forest vibe that would kind of go in front of this, or some other themes like that. But anyways, talking about the actual castle here. It's very over the top. It's very reminiscent of like Castle Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe, the He-Man universe. And there's just a lot going on here. You have the drawbridge. You have all the crazy colors. You have like the serpent out there. You have the Reapers. There's just it's a blast of color. I think it's a lot of fun. You know, my personal style for like the castles, I like when they're a little bit more reined in, a little bit more, you know, quote unquote realistic. But I still really like this one, and it would work very well as an amusement piece. And talking to a lot of folks online, it sounds like some of them, that's what they plan to use this for, actually, is kind of use it as like an amusement park attraction, which I could see something like this, you know, like a fun castle like this or spooky castle being at one. But I really like the medieval castle. I look forward to eventually displaying it. But this year I just felt that there were more deserving buildings to be on the actual proper top 5. All right, so number 5, guys, the Lemax Spooky Town Jack's Ferris wheel. This is one that really grew on me whenever I actually saw it in person. So this Ferris wheel, you know, I talked about in my review of it. Lemax has done some Ferris wheels. They did the Web of Terror most recently. The difference here, this Ferris wheel has the forward-facing cart, so to me, that gives a little bit of a different vibe. That reminds me personally of something like a kid-type Ferris wheel, because a lot of them are forward-facing like that. But I really like how the lighting works on this one. Lemax has really done a great job on their lighting packages with the Ferris wheels. You know, it's a little bit more, I guess, plain than something like the, you know, I talked about the Web of Terror or the Wheel of Horror. Plain maybe isn't the right word exactly, but it's not as overtly themed, but I really do like the pumpkins here. And if you are looking for, you know, because of the pumpkins, you can put it not just in an amusement park, you could put it in like a town fair scene. You know, there's various places you could put this because I think the pumpkins make it very Halloween-y, and really you could just display it by itself if you wanted to for Halloween too. So it's a lot of fun. And number 5, that is the Lemax Spooky Town Jack's Ferris wheel. Number 4, the FG Square Gates of Purgatory. So, okay, you know, to put it bluntly, if this one did not have those blinking lights, which are kind of crazy and they're very, you know, they're very, very bright. If it didn't have those, this one would rank higher. This is a piece that whenever I actually saw it turned on, man, holy cow, did it look incredible. It like blew me away. They really did such a good job with that internal scene there. And, you know, FG Square, things are really looking up for that company. You know, in the videos that I put up, pretty much there was kind of one through line on them was that they need to tone the blinking lights down. They really should change that to like, you know, the kind of the pulsing, because the strobing can be pretty distracting. That's just my opinion, though. I'll say that's not for, you know, necessarily everybody's opinion. I don't have authority on that or anything, but just in my thought, if they had toned down on their line a lot of that strobing and gone to more of a pulsing, something that wasn't as overt or in your face, those pieces would have been bumped up a notch. As is, though, still, if you are into like the graveyard scenes, you know, and you like that kind of thing, the FG Square Gates of Purgatory is an amazing piece. Number 3, the Department 56 Mad Scientist place. So this is one that this piece generated a lot of discussion this year. You know, this one probably would have been, well, it would have been number 2 on this list. I know that for sure. I don't know if it would have been number 1, but it definitely would have been number 2 on this list if the sign up front was lit. As is, though, I still really like it. I know that some folks out there, there's been a ton of discussion around this, the way that they made kind of the, you know, the silly little monster over on the side there. But in general, I think the piece looks incredible. I like it. I think it looks great as like what I would imagine somebody who's into the Mad Scientist theme doing their house up. Not in the overtly crazy Frankenstein's monster, you know, gory body parts everywhere or sewn together. Not that kind of vibe, even though I do love me some Dr. Frankenstein. I love some body horror like that. I think, you know, that's one of my favorite types of horror, actually, the Frankenstein monster type. But I really like how this is more of that cute Halloween. It reminds me, it's like very 90s. And of course, those tubes, those like bioluminescent tubes, are wonderful. I like the strobing too that they did to where, you know, it looks like the electrodes. I think they did a wonderful job. I know this piece isn't for everybody, and they definitely, I think, should have lit that sign. I think that would have been so much better if it came that way from the factory. But I love the Department 56 Mad Scientist place. I think it's a great addition to the Department 56 Trick or Treat lane, and I'm excited to see what they do next year for it. And I'm excited to display this one eventually as well when I do my next Trick or Treat display. This one here, it's weird. I'm going to talk about a couple negatives here, but this, you know, it really, I don't mean to be doing that. This is a positive video. These are awesome buildings, everyone that's on this list. But This is one that, again, there's a couple little things if they had just done different, would have bumped it up, and it would have been, tough to go for that number one spot. There's really, that's kind of the case like it was with Mad Scientist Place. Pretty much the top three buildings on this one. Number one just kind of did things, I think, everything about perfectly, where the other two, there's just a couple little things. But all right, so this building here, this is an arcade. It's awesome. Lemax Spooky Town has needed another arcade. They really did a good job with the theming on this. I love all the arcade cabinets. I love the big marquee up there. Everything, it just screams vintage arcade. You know, when I talk about the couple of missed opportunities, it would have been nice if they had different names on the arcades, especially on the arcade cabinets themselves, like different spoofs. I have seen people actually print out little pieces of paper or, whatever they're using, I guess, for that. But they're printing out different placards to put on there, and I think it looks better. It also would have been fun if we had some that were like flickering. That's really what I'm getting at here. Had it done that, this would have been an all-timer for me. But I still think it's a fantastic piece. And in talking to so many people out there, this is a lot of people's favorite piece of the year. And I do understand why. It is a wonderful piece. There's just a couple of those little things that would have been cool to set it over the edge for me. Number one, the Lemax Spooky Town Nightmares video. I absolutely love this piece. This was an easy number one for me. Everything came together on this one. This piece also, it shouldn't be a surprise that this is here. If you watch the countdown I did, the top 15 Lemax Spooky Town buildings of the last 10 years that I did with my friends Kelly and Landon, this ranked extremely high on that. So and it was the one from this year that was on that list. But yeah, this is an easy inclusion here for number one. The moment I saw this, I was like, oh well, this is probably going to be my favorite of the year. The theming on this of the classic, 80s, 90s. This to me is more 90s and 80s just because of the colors that are used. But the classic movie rental place, it is so nostalgic for, I'm 41, and for folks in my generation around my age, man, and talking to some of them, this just hits them in the feels. This piece has been hard to acquire this year. They had the gift set also, which was a fantastic job Lemax did. The gift set is great for it. It's nice to have it. The accessory that goes with it is wonderful as well. This is just a fantastic piece. It's an all-time piece. This piece will always be popular, I feel like, especially when it retires. I feel like time is going to be very kind on this because of all the details here. I would suggest watching my review of it if you haven't. But this one here, it just hit all the details for me. Everything from like the flickering TVs to the colors used to the marquee to the fun little, like Easter eggs, whatever you want to call it, little references to things all around the piece. I absolutely love it. Extremely deserving. This is one of the easiest number ones I ever had to choose since I've been doing this countdown, was the Lemax Spooky Town Nightmares video. So there's my countdown, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? What does your list look like? What do you think of my list? It's always fun to look back, and it really puts things in perspective a little bit once you get into the actual season proper versus when these buildings are all brand new and you start opening them. Once you start putting them out for display, or at least you have a little more hands-on time, I feel like it's easier to kind of contextualize, at least for me, how I feel about everything. Thank you as always for watching, guys. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful fall. I hope you guys are having fun building displays. I love looking at all the groups and on social media right now, just in general, seeing everybody in their amazing displays. There's so many of you folks out there that are so talented, and it's a lot of fun. I'm so happy the season is actually here proper. I love it. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes and the subscriptions. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. I'm just very appreciative of you all out there, and I'll see you guys very soon.